You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show. This show is made possible by the Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons. If you'd like to see this show continue, consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media. And thank you for your support. Say, kids, how would you like to build your very own Driftwood Gulch action playset? Stay tuned after the show to find out how.
Saturday Morning Theater proudly presents The Tales of Deputy Guppy. Return with us now to the thrilling days of not too long ago, when the West was wild and the rivers in the West were even wilder. Luckily, there was one fish to maintain law and order. One fish to reel in those who dare disturb the peace and tranquility of Driftwood Gulch. One fish to stand for truth, justice, and honor in the untamed rivers of the Wild West. Deputy Guppy! Today's adventure: an unfounded claim. In our last episode, one Mr. Hammerjaw arrived in town from New York, hoping to live all the adventure of the Wild West. We now find Mr. Hammerjaw, along with Deputy Guppy and Ringo, on the outskirts of town, riding their seahorses toward Mr. Hammerjaw's new gold claim.
Are seahorses always this, uncomfortable on the posterior?
First time on a seahorse, Mr. Hammerjaw?
Yes, and it's quite hard on the old tail fin.
Well, riding a seahorse does take some getting used to.
I see. Well, this is all still a wonderful adventure regardless. I'm oh so glad that you and Ringo agreed to help me reconnoiter my gold claim.
Well, it's our pleasure. Plus, I'd like to check out this claim for myself. Who did you say you bought it from?
I was swimming down a street in New York in the Hudson and stopped to look at what new dime novels had come in the drugstore. As I perused the tales of Wild Bill Haddock and Calamity Jane, a gentleman with the last name of Grimshaw came up to me.
Grimshaw?
Yes, that was his name. And he told me how he'd been on his way to Driftwood Gulch to work a gold claim with his brothers, but his mother had taken ill and wasn't long for the world. His brothers were returning from out west, and together they would care for her, leaving their gold claim untended. He then came upon the brilliant idea to sell the claim to me, at a discount of 600 sand dollars.
That's a lot of clams.
Oh, indeed. I was to pay him 300 in advance there in New York, and then the other 300 to his brothers when I arrived here. I have it all here in writing, along with a map to the claim site.
I see. And you gave Mr. Grimshaw the 300 sand dollars.
I did, and I have the other 300 here. It's all the money I have left in the world, but with the gold the claim is sure to produce, I will make more than 100 times that much. Or so Mr. Grimshaw says.
Or so Mr. Grimshaw says, eh? Well, that certainly is a heck of a story, Mr. Hammerjaw. Heck of a story indeed. One might say almost outlandish, with a man just selling away rights to a gold claim.
I'm getting the feeling that you are skeptical of the legitimacy of this transaction, Deputy.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Hammerjaw, I believe there might be something that's not quite right about this whole deal between you and Mr. Grimshaw.
How so?
Well, first of all, the gold strikes that have happened around Driftwood Gulch have all happened back up that way, behind us, at the base of Mount Moriah.
You're saying there's no gold out this way?
No. I'm not saying that exactly. It's just that I've never heard of gold being found out this way in the deep kelp.
Oh, I see.
Say, Gup, isn't Grimshaw the name of the family that used to live out this way? Ma Grimshaw and her boys, Dew, Peter, and Cyrus?
Yep.
Cyrus Grimshaw. That's the name of the fellow I met in New York. But he said his mother lived back east. You say she lives out here?
Well, she used to.
You suppose the Grimshaw clan found gold on their property, Gup?
That's one possibility.
One possibility? What's another possibility?
Well, Mr. Hammerjaw, I'm not right sure. I mean, as far as I know, Ma Grimshaw and her boys still live out here. They keep to themselves, mostly, but they all been in and out of jail a bit over the years.
In and out of jail? What for?
Oh, minor stuff, stealing, swindling, that kind of thing. But I haven't heard a peep from them for a while. At least not since Cyrus got out of jail a year or so ago.
Do you think that was the same Cyrus Grimshaw I met in New York?
It could be. I don't doubt that you met a Cyrus Grimshaw. It's just that there being gold out here is the piece of the puzzle that ain't fitting right. Well, we won't know until we get out there, and We've got about a mile and a half left. Let's get a move on.
Today's the day, huh, Ma? The day that City Slicker is supposed to ride in here with that $300.
Sure is, Dew. That's why I sent Peter up to the road to be on the lookout for him. He'll warn us when this greenhorn is coming. I gotta be out of sight when he arrives or this whole plan falls apart.
Right, because you're supposed to be sick.
Sick and back east. That way he can't see me. When he gets here, you and Peter will take care of him, dump him in the old abandoned mine, and we'll be $300 richer. Then Cyrus will find another rube in New York to send our way.
Gee, Ma, you always have the best plans.
You're darn right I do. Oh, here comes Peter now. Get ready.
Sure thing, Ma.
Ma, we got a problem.
Problem? Ain't the greenhorn coming?
Oh, he's coming, okay, but he ain't alone.
Ain't alone? Who's with him?
Deputy Guppy and that yellow fish friend of his.
I should have known that Deputy Guppy and Ringo would louse this up somehow.
What are we gonna do?
Get me my shotgun, and you boys get your guns. If at the end of the day we gotta throw 3 fish into that old mine shaft, so be it. I'm gonna get my money.
Ma Grimshaw is planning an ambush for Deputy Guppy, Ringo, and Mr. Hammerjaw. Do our heroes know that they are moments away from riding directly into danger? You'll find out in the next exciting episode of The Tales of Deputy Guppy!
Episode number 209 of The Tales of Deputy Guppy starred Gentleman Jervis as Mr. Hammerjaw, Leslie Harman as Ma Grimshaw, Russ Walko as Do Grimshaw, Nate Begle as Peter Grimshaw, Chris Sheets as Ringo, Grant Baciocco as Deputy Guppy, and Kevin Berntson as the narrator. Sound designed by Christopher Green of GreenStreams Studio. Find out more at greenstreamsstudio.ca. Music for this episode by Dan Ring. Say, kids, did you know that this episode of The Tales of Deputy Guppy comes with a piece of the Driftwood Gulch action playset that is all ready for you to download, print, color, cut, and assemble? All you gotta do is head on over to DeputyGuppy.com and click on the link to the free PDF in the post for this episode. Once you add this new building to your playset, we would love to see a picture of it. Send a picture of your Driftwood Gulch action playset to hello@SaturdayMorningMedia.com. And stay tuned for more buildings and figures coming with future episodes so you can build your very own Driftwood Gulch. This show is a production of Saturday Morning Media and made possible by the Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons who've gone to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up a monthly pledge for as little as $1 a month. Huge thanks to Shay Stewart, Myrn Lafferty, Jeff Peterson, Dale Gadania, Stephen Staver, Jackie Klimo, Melissa Crawford, Dave Slusher of the Evil Genius Chronicles, Mike Conflin, Dorothy Baciocco, John D., Kathy Crawford, Brian Greer, Carrie Whitney, Chuck Tomasi from the Technorama Podcast, Chris Foster, Stephen Ing, Clinton of ComedyForecast.com, Vicky DeVries, Mike Wobschall, Twitter user Butts and Gear, aka Wildcat, Eve Cunning, Mike Hamilton, Gaston Moreno, Reed Loveland, Ivan Asquith, Vanessa Whitney, Peggy Etra, Kristen Hogan of Squid Friends, David Akers, Zoe Palladino, Ellen Multari, Christopher Harris, Rachel Jackson of Vox Fabuli Puppets, Carolyn Weisner, John Petty, Rachel Hansen, Darcy Prevost, Fernando Torres, Ron McAdams, Pearly Q Magic, Jason Domer, Lee Barrett, Casino Skunk, The Misty Minute, Peter Capesser, Night Gig Studios, Joelle Recht for Tig, Adrian Rose Leonard, Earth to John Francis, RJ, Ginger J Fitz, Megapodtastic, Paul Brunel, Jamie Hitchcock, Catherine Hannaford, Alan Gratz, Rachel Gibbous, John R. Donald, Jude Major, Miss Maudie and her buddies, Molly Smith, Phil Goodman, Emma Buntrock Muller, Jennifer Ballier, Nate Beagle, David Packman, The Trivia Puppet Company, and Annette Mateo of Puppetlandia. If you'd like to support this show and the other fun content from Saturday Morning Media, become a patron. Head on over to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up your monthly pledge today. You can also tell a friend about the show or leave the show a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much for listening. This show is copyright 2018 Saturday Morning Media, Grant Baciocco, executive producer, all rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com. You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.